Hello guys, welcome to the adventures of Captain Underpants. Action, thrills, laughs, and they're over here like freak out. Dance and shoot. Freak out. It says an epic novel by Dave Pikely. So I'm gonna read chapter by chapter. So la la la. Little Apple paperback, an epic novel by Dave Pikely, and Scholastic New York, Tontana, Ackland, and Indiana. So there are gonna be 20 chapters, which means there are gonna be 20 episodes. Okay. So, George and Harold, Chapter 1. Meet George. George Haired and Harold Hunchkins. George is the kid on the left with the flat top. Harold is the one on the right with the t-shirt and the bad haircut. Remember that now. Pick your own roses. You're probably like, oh yeah, you already know what's gonna happen. So here's my theory. They're gonna change that because that has to be different. It says, George and Harold were best friends. They have a lot in common. They live right next door to each other, and they were both in the same 4th grade class at Gerald Harrington's elementary school. George and Harold was usually responsible kids. Whenever something bad happened, Gerald were usually responsible. Pick your own noses. Oh, so I get it. I already had a theory about that, so it wasn't surprising, but don't get the wrong idea about these two. George and Harold were actually nice boys, no matter what everyone else thought. They were good, sweet, and lovable. Well, okay, maybe they weren't so sweet and lovable, but they were good and nonetheless. It says just that George and Harold each had a silly streak, a mile long. Okay, it says it's just that George and Harold each had a silly streak a mile long. Usually that silly streak was too hard to control. Sometimes it got them in trouble, and once in a while it got them into big, big trouble. But before I can tell you that story, I have to tell you this story. Chapter 2, Treehouse Comics. So the reason why I'm reading Chapter 2 is because I have a few minutes left. I have like 3 minutes left, so after a hard day of cracking jokes, pulling pranks, and causing mayhem at the school, at whatever that says, George and Harold liked to rush to the old treehouse in George's backyard. Inside the treehouse were 2 big old fluffy chairs, a table, and a cupboard crammed with junk food. A padlock crate filled with pencils, pens, and stacks of paper. Now, Harold loved to draw and George loved to make up stories, and together the 2 boys spent hours and hours writing and drawing their very own comic books. Over the years, they have created hundreds of their own comic books, starring dozens of their own superheroes. First, there was Dogman, then came Timmy the Talking Toilet. Who could forget the amazing Cow Lady? But all-time greatest superhero has ever made up to the amazing Captain Underpants. A few seconds left before I end this video. George came up with the idea most superheroes look like they're flying around in underwear. He said, well, this guy is actually flying around in his underwear. The 2 boys laughed and laughed. Yeah, said Harold. He could fight with Reggie power. George and Harold spent the entire afternoon writing and drawing the comic adventures of Captain Underpants. He was the coolest superhero ever. Luckily for the boys, the secretary at their school, I really don't want to say the name, so I'm just going to say school, was much too busy to keep an eye of the copy machine. So whenever they got a chance, Harold and George would sneak into the office and run 700 copies of the latest Captain Underpants adventure. After school, they sold their homemade comic books at the playground for 50 cents each. So this is going to be the next chapter, Chapter 3, Adventures of Captain Underpants. And thank you. Please leave a like.